Welcome to the For the Badge podcast. It's another weekend roundup. Arsenal smash Forest. Brighton also smash Chelsea. And Man City have it absolutely as easy as you like against Leicester City. All right, we'll start with Manchester City and Leicester. Just want to start out by saying I really felt sad watching the Leicester team in this one. It is not good to see a professional team in the world's biggest league come at home be this scared against anyone. I don't care that they're the reigning champions. I don't care that they're the best team in the league right now. And they didn't even have Erling Haaland. I know that doesn't make a huge difference for me, but to see Leicester sit back this much until about 25 yards out, they didn't put any pressure at all until City had the ball about 25 yards out of the goal. Uh, it did work for the first half, I would say, but I remember making a note saying that you have to be perfect. You have to be absolutely perfect. One mistake and it's over. I thought Rodrigo was really good, cleaning up the second ball when Leicester tried to break. When they did get a hold of the ball, the rare few times, and break through that first line of City's press, they looked somewhat dangerous going forward. But it's tough to have quality when you have four chances the whole game because you're sitting back with 10 men in the box. So they at least made it to halftime, 0-0. I thought that that was lucky for them a little bit. City were able to get some joy in the channels when they overloaded the wings. So I thought that they might be able to get one in the first half, but without any space, it was tough all around for Alvarez. It was tough for De Bruyne to find the passes, and that's understandable. But then the second half starts and Leicester are just more of the same from Brendan Rodgers probably in the locker room, and then Leicester come out the exact same way and a stupid foul on the one moment on the edge of the box, and they lose the game. Cost them the whole game. It's unbelievable that first off, yes, amazing free kick from De Bruyne, but that's why you don't make that foul. So we knew that City's going to have someone to dump the free kick in. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne being first choice makes total sense, and he does that. Beautiful free kick, well done. Got to expect that. That's why you can't make fouls like that. It took him 18 minutes. I counted. It took him 18 minutes to make a sub from that point. Goals in the 53rd, and they did not make a substitution until the 71st. Didn't change the game plan at all. Didn't seem to care at all. Literally saw Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne standing still on the ball at one point. Literal walking pace at one point. It's almost pathetic that a professional team at any level is so scared to get smashed that they're letting the other team walk with the ball at any spot. I mean, it's just it really kind of got me a little bit fired up. And you can't play any game in this league for just 18 minutes. It just doesn't matter, So subs came on for Brendan Rodgers, made the changes finally, and they were better. Game became a little bit even. Probably by virtue of the fact that City were just asleep. They were lulled to sleep because they didn't have to do anything in this game at all to win this game. And so by the time Leicester decided, oh, we're here to play, they kind of were a bit sluggish, but, they did enough to hold on to the 1-0 and just really, really glaring to see that Leicester didn't even want to show up for 70 minutes of this game. Didn't even want to come out at all. And in the post-match interview, Brendan Rodgers said that he seemed to be okay with what happened, and I was baffled. I just don't understand. I don't understand how overrated James Madison is. He might be the 23rd man on the England team if he makes it. He just doesn't do enough for his team. He pops up with some quality. He scored some good goals this season, but he doesn't do enough, especially in this team, to help them out. That's why they're terrible. This is possibly the easiest win City will have all season. Absolute cakewalk, and that's all there is to be said about that one. Move on to the Amex, probably the most anticipated fixture of the weekend. Brighton hosting Chelsea. Graham Potter's back for the first time since he left. You could hear at one point during the game, you could definitely hear the Brighton fans were singing to Potter himself, telling him how they felt. But of course, that was after about 4 goals. So you understand their joy at this win. I just feel like it was kind of a little bit on the cards, to be honest with you. Brighton had not won yet under De Zerbi and have looked good. However, it's at home. We knew they were going to bring a lot of energy, and I think of all teams that Chelsea have played since Reece James has gone down, Brighton exploited the space that this formation leaves. So with having no cover for Chalobah and Cucurella because your wingers were Pulisic and Sterling, and it really left Loftus-Cheek and Kovacic out to dry, trying to run all the way back and forth across the field to cover both wings because Pulisic and Sterling aren't getting back. And so Trossard just had a field day, had an absolute field day down the right-hand side versus Cucurella. And it started early, the high press, the high energy, and it didn't stop for the whole game. I think before Chelsea even woke up, it was 2-0. 13 minutes in, the high press is just causing ridiculous sloppiness there in the middle. Kovacic wasn't able to keep the ball. Loftus-Cheek wasn't able to keep the ball. And I don't think anyone's attacked the space in behind better. So much so that Chelsea had to change the formation at one point. But at 3-0 at halftime, you know, it was already over, really. Brighton are good enough, professional enough. They came out, they showed that, defended really, really well, backed off a tiny bit, but definitely wasn't enough. Okay, Chelsea got the 1 goal back, but they had to change their formation to do it. It's very, very interesting to see how they'll line up next game. Well, obviously not necessarily in the very next game. They have won the Champions League group, so I imagine we'll see a definitely heavily rotated squad. But it's very, very interesting to see how, I wouldn't say wrong, tactically wrong this was, but it was exploited horrifically fast, very quickly in this game. So I think that there's definitely evidence and obviously work to do. Obviously, you miss Reece James, but still, I think that moving forward, Potter's got a lot to think about after having his formation ripped apart like that. And credit to Brighton, credit to De Zerbi. They have been going through sticky spot. Haven't won under the new coach, but this is a huge win. Definitely at home. Uh, kind of halts the little bit of whispers, a little bit of negativity around the last run of results, and I think that this is monstrous for them. Definitely a statement game that the Amex is going to be really tough to go to. I think we're seeing it this season how important home field advantage is in this league. We've definitely seen it. I think it's even more apparent in the Champions League, but some of these mid-table teams that we don't necessarily expect to, vault up the table and be competing there for the European spots are still making it really, really tough to come and get points at their ground, especially if they're going to score 4 goals. I mean, I feel like Chelsea were just a bit shell shocked at the energy, and it just goes to show you that when you play with heart, when you play for the badge, and the whole team is on the same level. The crowd's right behind you. It's just tough to beat. Really, really, really tough to play against. I think Brighton did really well in this one. Moving on to Craven Cottage, another place that's really, really hard to go, really tough to get points at. I thought there were going to be goals in this one, but apart from that, it was about exactly what I expected. For the neutral, this game was fantastic. I figured it would be from the beginning. You got Mitrovic up top, absolute delight to watch. Calvert-Lewin is coming back real strong. I figured he might get a goal. They definitely looked dangerous. Alex Iwobi's loving life. The freedom there in the center midfield for Everton, I'm actually loving to see it. He's having a fantastic season. I thought he had another good game. Pretty much most of this game was end to end, back and forth, both teams standing up really strong. I loved the battle between Mitrovic and Tarkovsky and Cody. It was great. A lot of physicality. The referee had a lot to do. I thought actually the ref did well as opposed to some of the other ones this season, this weekend. But this one is one of those nil-nils that you just love to see. Everton showed why they are one of the best five defenses in the league. They've given 12 maybe goals this season, and that's up there, right up there with Arsenal and City. So I guess I maybe overestimated it a little bit, but I think there should have been goals in this one. It was a fantastic, fantastic game. Honestly, think the result's a bit better for Everton. Um, Away from home. Again, Craven Cottage, really tough to play against. Liverpool couldn't win here, and so I think that defense is just so stout that this is a really good point for Everton, and I think both Fulham and Everton are going to be just fine. Fulham maybe not going to have enough to challenge for seventh, sixth, seventh, top eighth, maybe eighth, ninth, about where they'll finish. But I think they'll be just fine. Definitely, like I said, it's going to be really, really, really tough to go to some of these grounds, and Craven Cottage is definitely going to be one of them. Now we move down to the next really, really disgusting result. I definitely thought that Bournemouth were going to have some goals uh, as they did. And I felt that this game, I actually went back and watched it. I felt that this game definitely epitomized the identity of what both of these teams are about. I've said it week in and week out. That's because that's the way Antonio Conte wants it. Same old Spurs. They were sloppy in the beginning, in the midfield, like they've been pretty much all season. It's again, it's interesting that the third place team in the league sets up with five at the back versus Bournemouth. Um, you know, like I say, it's just what they do. They didn't have the energy really. They didn't have the energy in their press until they're down two goals already. I think this was a kind of a tale of two halves. They definitely played higher in the second half. They got Basuma on and changed the formation, so they have uh, three attackers instead of two, or maybe it was more that came in when they made that change, and they just kind of pressed higher. And it makes you wonder why they don't do that from the start, why they don't play like that from the start. I don't know, maybe Conte's got a plan to conserve energy or something, but yeah, it's just kind of baffling the way they approach the game. And I mean, it's efficient. It's pretty much all you can say about it. It's efficient. It's not pretty. It's nothing you like to watch about. It's something you like to see about it. But same old story for Bournemouth. How do you just some shocking, shocking defending on corner kicks? I mean, two goals on off of corners this game. It's laughable some of the defending they're doing, just not marking up. It's just naive, and And Spurs wanted it more in the end. They definitely had uh, the press on at the very end, the urgency, and they got the late winner to crush Bournemouth hearts. Crush my heart, to be honest with you. It wasn't great to see this, but credit to the Spurs for playing that higher press in the second half, getting the points. Again, it's efficient, but I think that it leaves everybody wondering why aren't they doing this from the start? Why aren't they playing like this for the full 90? Conversely, we will move to the most wonderful result of the weekend, and you kind of back to winning ways, back to same old Arsenal, which is good to see. We came out, had a ton of energy, pretty much dominated this entire game, home to Forest. I definitely expected us to dominate. We should dominate versus the worst team in the league, but I also think this is definitely a statement just to say that we're still here. We're not going anywhere, and it's going to be. I think this was a needed result. You know, it's going to be tough again to get points at the Emirates off of us. We always start really, really, really fast. Uh, so I think that if it's telling teams that if you don't bring the energy here, we will blow you away. Um, just like most of our really good performances this season, who do you pick out as the man of the match in this one? Martin Odegaard had a wonderful captain's performance, I thought. Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka, invaluable. Both of them invaluable there in the middle. Um, I think we could have had even more with the way we started. I think that it's absolutely insane to say that Gabby Jesus is struggling right now or kind of in a sticky spot. He had an assist, and we scored 5 goals, and he didn't get on on the score sheet. For me, that's wonderful. He absolutely again had a lot of industry, a lot of energy. He was a nuisance, a pest the whole game. I love when he gets the ball. You just know he's trying to beat a man or he's trying to do a little quick 1-2, trying to get the pressure going forward. Yeah, absolutely love that. Possibly one of the only negatives of the game. Obviously, Saka takes a knock. I haven't looked up anything in the past few hours to see what's going on with him. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. Uh, and then you love to see Reece Nelson get the opportunity, comes in off the bench and does something we've really, really needed. We've been accused of not having the depth and not having the goals on the bench, and here he comes. A young man has been given the opportunity, comes in and smashes 2 goals. Um, Maybe a little unlucky to not get the hat trick in the end. Gets his assist as well for Thomas Partey's ice beam. And so all around, absolute perfect game. Got the shutout as well. Back on top. There's nothing else to say. It was just a magnificent performance, an expected performance, one we needed. Kind of, in times past, in seasons gone past, we've done well, gone on a run, and then had a poor result. Maybe a draw we shouldn't have dropped points in, and then a loss in a different competition or something, and then we come back and we underwhelm for a while, kind of have a bit of a malaise. But this season, we're changing things like that, and it's wonderful to see we are back to winning ways, back on top of the table, and got some big games coming up. Definitely have to win on Thursday versus Zurich at home. Again, it's another one we should expect to win. Unfortunate, I think that we have to that we're going to need points, or at least going to need the win to guarantee top spot, which is very important, especially because of the likes of Barcelona coming down to Europa League. So I definitely expect to see a stronger squad than we perhaps should have been playing due to the loss versus PSV, especially since it's Chelsea at the weekend away to Stamford Bridge. It's going to be an epic couple of games. I expect the win versus Surrich, and then it's going to be a really, really, really good match at the bridge, and we'll definitely get into that next time with our predictions. But all in all, perfect result. Can't really say much else. You love to see it, and back on top, and we march on. Speaking of marching on, we are on to Old Trafford. Manchester United played West Ham to a pretty good game. I thought it was definitely even. I thought there were going to be more goals myself. Perhaps should have been. Um, Man United looking good. Quietly doing really, really well. At the moment, they're in a good vein of form. Um, I thought that both teams were pressing high and causing mistakes, causing sloppiness in the midfield. I thought Casemiro was back to what he's done mostly this season. Lots of mistakes. He's been subpar. He's had some moments. He had a couple of really good games, and then this one he wasn't at it. I felt like kind of a bit off the pace. I think that both teams look dangerous going forward. It's definitely back and forth, but that was due mostly to the mistakes. Um, and then for the goal, you just can't let you just can't give Ericsson that kind of space on the edge of the box. You know he's got the quality. You know he's going to hit in an absolutely dirty free kick. Dirty cross. And Rashford just wants it, just like Martinelli did for the first goal for Arsenal. Um, he just wanted him more. Got past the defender, who honestly didn't even look like seen him coming, and towering, powerful header into the back of the net. And it's enough to see them through, see them win the 3 points at home. I definitely think the second half was much the same. It's pretty much the same going back and forth the whole game. Uh, it was interesting to note that Man United were kind of up against it at the end. West Ham seemed to be in the ascendancy near the end of the game. I guess that urgency to get back level obviously gave them the impetus, and they were a bit under it. And it must be said that David De Gea had an awesome game, made some late saves. The one versus Kurt Zuma was absolutely incredible. Um, I remember him in the post match saying he don't even know how he got there. It was awesome. Definitely everyone in the stadium thought that Zuma had scored that one. But De Gea comes up big, definitely makes a couple of saves after that to keep them in the game as well to save the 3 points. And again, like I said, headed towards the World Cup, Man United looking good, having a lot of joy at home for sure. Another one of those places that it's going to be terrible to go this season. Obviously, Arsenal's only loss in the league has come at Old Trafford. They've beaten Spurs there. They drew, so I think that they also beat Liverpool at home as well earlier in the season. May not be saying as much as it once was, but they're definitely in a great vein of form at Old Trafford. Speaking of Liverpool, we'll move on to another wonderful result at the weekend. Mr. Virgil van Dijk's long-standing undefeated run at Anfield comes to a crashing end. You'll love to see it. I definitely thought that Leeds were going to bring it in this one. Oh man, I knew they needed to have the energy. If you saw the if you saw the interview with Jesse Marsh where he was talking about how he's sick of losing, he's never lost this much in his career. You can see it in his eyes. I always believe that the energy, the attitude, the spirit starts with the coach, starts at the front with the manager, and you can see the desperation, just absolute desperation in Jesse Marsh's eyes in that interview. And so I knew that it was they were going to come with a lot of energy in this one, and they sure did with with just some incredible, mystifying defensive work. I don't even know what the word is. Gomez, you think he does well in the beginning, wins the ball off of Aronson. And I was thinking, all right, yeah, well done. Now get it up the field. But then he turns around, doesn't even look. If you see the replay, he doesn't even look. just passed it across, and Allison was expecting him to look so that he would play it to feet. Not a chance this is on the goalkeeper for me. Uh, Allison slips when he realizes that the ball is just awful. Virgil van Disney is asleep, and so Rodrigo just taps it home. Can't believe, absolutely can't believe his luck. Easiest goal he'll ever score, and right from the off leads up 1-0. Again, I think the commentator said that was the eighth or ninth game that Liverpool has given the first goal. Uh, it's yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they just they have no consistency to speak of. Even at home, you expect them, to be way better than they are on the road this season, as evidence of that. But what a shocking start to this, But credit to them as they always do. They stepped it up, matched the energy, and brought the pressure like they always do, and were able to get. Offensively, they always seem to bring it. They always seem to look dangerous, no matter what's going on at the back. And so they were able to get one back. Mo Salah getting the goal. He's definitely happy to be amongst the goals again. But this game was all about the energy. It was all about the press from both teams, end to end. Wonderful, wonderful game for the neutral. It was back and forth, back and forth. Uh, and as you would expect in the second half, Leeds played really, really great defense. But as you would expect, they kept pushing. Liverpool kept pushing on, kind of growing in ascendancy a little bit. But Leeds never stopped believing. And in the end, they were able to get the just just another goal with some absolutely shocking, incredible defending that is just you just don't even know don't even know what's going on back there. Van Dijk is absolutely standing still again, afraid to make the challenge in the box, afraid to give away a penalty, and I don't think Allison expected him to shoot at that moment, and expected it. He didn't expect it to be a kind of. It was interesting the way he took this one off, almost like a snapshot that was kind of ricocheted. It looked like it maybe hit his shin and then ricocheted off of his foot the way it kind of moved in the air. And Allison was a bit surprised, and and they sink Liverpool at home for the first time in 70 games that Van Dijk has been a part of the team, at least gotten on the field, I believe, is the modifier there. It's a wonderful for the badge performance for Leeds, and I love it. You love to see it. You love to see a team work and believe and press and hassle and hustle and harry and get their reward for it. It's like Jesse Marsh has been saying. He felt they've had the energy, just haven't gotten the reward. And I think they've finally gotten their reward in a huge, huge way. Eases the pressure off my man Jesse. And I expect more of the same from Leeds going forward. It's good to see Tyler Adams playing absolutely wonderful ahead of this World Cup. Aaronson's looked amazing ahead of this World Cup. It's exciting, exciting stuff over at Leeds. Now another place. Again, the theme of this episode is all about home field advantage. Newcastle absolutely smash Villa at home. Oh man, I watched this one. The St. James's Park is loud, even through the TV. It's just absolute. Oh, it's just so loud. It's gonna be a just ridiculously nasty place to go this season. It's another place that's gonna be really, really rough to go. Manchester City have already seen it. Back and forth game that 3-3 was absolutely fantastic. The first half though of this one was I mean there was a lot of energy and it was back and forth game, but it was very stop start, very fractious. In fact, there were 10 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half. It was I mean Villa still trying to play a really physical game, and there were injuries, and scuffles, and yellow cards, and it was just a proper battle. The crowd were in it. It was loud. And then at the end of this first half, they get the penalty, clearest handball. At least, even though we can't really understand the rules this season, uh, this handball you're going to see that given at least this season. We know for a fact his arm is way up in the air. Definitely in and this one's pretty clear. Callum Wilson steps up. Gareth Southgate in the stands, hoping to make an England claim, and oh, he did. I definitely thought he did today, at least in this game, rather. And calm, cool, collected penalty right down the pipe, and they go in up 1-0. I don't think Villa ever came out of I don't think they came out of the locker room for the second half. They were definitely up against it for the whole half. What can you say? Miguel Almiron, just he another fantastic game. Bruno Guimaraes has a wonderful game. I just they're doing it. They found it at Newcastle and they're tearing it up right now. Almiron gets his goal. I've said it for years since he's been in the league. He's an absolute monster. Has a great game. He works for the team, runs back. He also gets up on the wing, cuts in, gets the goal. He loves to set up teammates as well. It's just he's found some shiny, shiny scoring boots, and it's wonderful to see. Also, Callum Wilson puts in a real workman's-like performance, real forwards-like performance, gets the 2 goals with the international manager in the stands. Credit to him. It's definitely staking a claim for Qatar. Uh, on the opposite side of this one, I don't feel one bit bad for Aston Villa at all. If those rumors are true about them, hoping Stevie G gets sacked and not playing for the badge because because they don't like the coach, then here's your just desserts. Have some of this because they got absolutely wrecked, and I think they deserve every bit of it. They were up against it in the second half, and in the end, it could have been 5, 6, 7, because they kind of just laid down and died. Just laid down and died at the end of this one. Unai Emery gets in there on Tuesday. Hopefully, he can build a better culture at that club because it's not something I'm a fan of at the moment. Um, their physicality. I always cited their physicality in earlier videos. Something I'm not a fan of either. The way they go about their game, and maybe a little bit vindictive, but it's good to see them take a 4-0 to flying high Newcastle, who are definitely making a claim that they might be in there with a shot at the end of the season for Champions League. Look out, top of the table. We'll move on to Brentford versus Wolves. I thought this was another real battle. This one was an even game. In the first half, not a lot of chances were created, so it was kind of a physical battle there in the midfield. Not a whole bunch of quality going forward. But in the second half, it opened up. They both improved, and then Ben Mees just just out of nowhere, scores the goal of his life with an absolutely wicked scissor kick. You love to see that from a center back, from the guy usually stopping goals, usually throwing himself in the way of people trying to do the scissor kick, and he goes up and gets one himself. Must be said that Ruben Neves is the absolute heart and soul of the Wolves team this season. Pretty much every game I've watched for them, he's the one breaking up play. He's the one stopping balls in the box. He's the one getting the header out on the corner. And right now, he's the only one scoring goals. So he's scored both their goals the last 2 games they've played. Uh, Really well taken goal for him against Brentford. I think he had a real captain's performance. Popping up on the right winger, popping up in the box, popping up, on the goal line, defending his own goal. Like I say, I just think right now he's carrying the team, and the man that they've looked to score goals is just up to his usual madness. Nice little headbutt there for the red card. Well done, Diego Costa. Good for you. Uh, and then, of course, we have the Crystal Palace result over Southampton. Uh, Great result for Patrick Vieira. I didn't actually get to watch this one, but in the extended highlights, it was clear to see that Palace definitely dominated. Kind of a bread and butter Palace goal for Edouard. They got Zaha into the channel, and he made a great pass across for Edouard to get the tap in close range. Southampton had the ball on the hit the post a couple times, forced a good save from Guaita. Maybe should have been a bit better in front of goal, but you can normally say that about the Southampton squad. And it results in a really, really good win for Crystal Palace. They are in a better way as well. Well done, Patrick Vieira. Well, I think that about rounds up the league. Arsenal stay top. Chelsea gets smashed. City still right in there with the easiest win they'll ever have. Newcastle definitely coming barnstorming up the table. Man United quietly doing well at home. It was a good week for the home teams, barring Liverpool, and I definitely expect that kind of form to continue. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell for all of the new videos coming out, all the updates. We do have a World Cup special on the horizon that I'm definitely looking forward to. And we'll be back after the Champions League games with the final Champions League group stage roundup and the Europa League roundup and the predictions league for next week. Again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.